Hey everybody and welcome back to the Not Fancy League. I am Rob,
And I'm Tyler.
and we are back here post week 4 with our week 5 preview. Uh, any thoughts on what happened last week, Tyler, before we get into all of this, all we're going to go over today?
Just a lot of things on Twitter how the Bears are bad and everyone that left the Bears are good. So fun week, but we'll get into more of that later.
We will get into a lot more of that later. The first thing we're going to do here, as always, is our standings update, and we have a name change alert. So Jacob T7 is now Bird Up. I definitely just put it in right there. I'll probably put it in a bunch of times after that. He has 5 birds on his team, so he is now Bird Up.
Bird up.
I definitely did it again. So yeah, so from now on, Jacob T7 is Bird Up, just for reference for everybody that is watching. Any thoughts on that, Tyler? You're just sitting there stumped.
I mean, I gave up on his name changes. I'm just calling him Tridge, Team Tridge, because he had 5 changes last year. He's already on Team 2 or 3 this. So I don't care. I'll give it 2 weeks till he trades 3 of those players, and then we'll go back to T8 or whatever. So
I'm just hoping that he'll stay Bird Up for a while because I'll just keep putting this up here.
it'll just be the death. Yeah, I think he needs a trade player after like 3 weeks of this because nobody's going to want to watch these videos.
Probably not. All right, so moving on to our real standings update. We got one 4-0 team remaining, one undefeated team remaining, and it is the Big Munch, the Munchettes. Did anyone have the Munchettes as the 4-0 team this season, even though he was 4-0 last year?
Listen, he's a tank. He's proven. And is he the favorite now to win?
No, it's still got to be Van Dorn. Van Dorn has the points crown. He's got the
Yeah.
most points for in the league, still by 50. But the Munchettes still look really, really good.
Number 2,
Both
yeah.
those teams haven't had a lot of points scored against them, but probably also because they're not playing each other. Like they both score a lot of points, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like what's what.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out was the Alamo have the most points against, so they're getting scored on a lot, and they still have a win somehow. We'll get into that because I'm really upset about that. Uh, but he has the most points against. So the one thing I'm going to do, I think, for the rest of this video series, Tyler, is if the playoffs started today. So if the playoffs started today, the Big Munch is in, and Z Steezy is in, Team Blassi's in, and Van Dorn is in. So those 4 teams are in as of right now. So if you aren't one of those 4 teams, you are on the outside looking in. Any thoughts on
Yeah.
those 4?
It's kind of, I mean, Trish is getting the outside shot. Lassie, we talked about last season, I think, towards the end, saying he'll be good this year. I don't think preseason we rated him. But the Munchettes and 2 Justins, we kind of already had
Yeah.
set in NFC. So AFC is a little more, has a little more parity to it.
A little bit more. There's 3-3-1 teams out there.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to our MVP of the week, Tyler, you can go ahead and go first.
I mean, there's no one else, but there's 2. I didn't know who you wanted me to go with. I'm going to go with CMC, Mr. Hurdles, Mr. Touchdowns. Doesn't he have like 21 touchdowns in 18 games of playing for the 49ers?
That
He's
sounds
just-
right. He scores every single game. Every single time
Yeah.
he's out there, he scores.
So it's just instant fantasy goodness, and he's one of the best players, and that's why he dropped nearly 50 points.
Yeah. I'm of the point, is CMC the best fantasy player ever? Is he the best fantasy asset anyone's ever had when he's healthy? Because he's had a couple of injured seasons, but when CMC's healthy, he was number 1 on the Panthers, and he's definitely number 1 right now on the Niners. He is so, so good. Like, to me, he's in like LT territory, Adrian Peterson territory, where he's that good right now.
I still have LT as 1, but
He's
CMC would have
very,
as number
very
2.
good.
I think there's
I mean,
tier
but
1.
yeah.
I think he's in a second tier by himself.
Yeah, he's so, so good at this point. He's a big reason why Van Dorn's team's so good. I mean, he's the best running back in fantasy. I don't think there's any debate there at this point. He is that good. My MVP of the week was AJ Brown. He had an absolute monster week here for Team Blassie. Team Blassie put up a ton of points, and he's a big reason why. He caught 9 balls and caught 2 touchdowns, 175 yards. Big week for AJ Brown. He looked really, really good in a team against a Washington team that kind of made that a game, which was interesting to watch.
The Wolfpack came out to play. From the highs to the lows, we'll go to the L's of the week. And Rob, you want to kick this one off first?
Yeah, I went with the Debo Kittle combo. So both of these teams are on Team Pound Cake. And really, it's not like the Niners had a bad day. They just didn't use those two guys. They combined for 2.5 points. Debo went under 1 point. He didn't even catch a ball, and Kittle just caught one. So they really, really didn't do anything. Probably the reason that Team Pound Cake didn't put up much of a fight this week. All the points went to CMC. That was the way the Niners offense was this week.
Yeah, the Niners offense kind of goes like that, I feel. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously CMC gets his every time, but it kind of rotates through. But it's kind of been more isolated to Ayuk and Kittle.
Yeah.
My L of the week could also have been the bench of the week, but just because how highly in redraft at least how highly he was drafted, Darren Waller, another stinker of 5 points, and those last 4 points was like on the last 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Some garbage time. He's just not good
Well,
right now.
he's not good right now, and I think it's not even Daniel Jones's fault. I think it's that offensive line's fault. He gets
Oh my
sacked
goodness.
so much. I don't know how
He was
it's possible
getting
for him to get hit that often, but
he was getting
he can't get
sacked
the
at like
ball out.
1.5 seconds. Like he couldn't even do his drop back before getting
I
hit.
know.
Like
It's so bad.
just stand and take a screen and you last longer.
Like I didn't think the Seattle front four was that good, but they just destroyed the Giants yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's possible
it was not a good game yesterday.
because there's no one relevant fantasy wise on the Giants right now. There's nobody on that team that you would take.
Yeah, no,
There's absolutely nobody.
they're
All right.
uh they're a cesspool. Maybe when I mean Saquon come back, you maybe, but
Probably
I
then,
don't
but
know.
that O-line's so bad, I don't even know if he's gonna be worth anything by then because they can't block.
Yeah,
Uh, but moving on to the benching of the week, I went with Dave Montgomery. He scored 3 touchdowns. He had like 30 something carries. He had an absolutely monster game back on Thursday. He did not play for Team Pound Cake. He kind of had a rough week this week with the Niners going low and then not starting Dave Montgomery there, who had his best game, I think, ever fantasy wise.
yeah. This one was a little hard this week because there wasn't any like close battles. Like I think the
Hmm.
closest one was like 20 points. But then I went with I believe your guy DJ Moore dropping 27 points. I mean, everyone saw it in the stars. Uh, and just having himself a day. Granted, it was against the Broncos, but yeah, there wasn't like any too many benchings that cost any team the loss.
Yeah, not necessarily this week, but I guess what I'll say about DJ Moore is I really don't know what to do about him because Justin Fields is such a question mark and the Bears offense is such a question mark. Like he puts up fine numbers, but I just keep thinking he's going to get like 3 targets because Fields can't throw the ball down the field. And then he just has like his best game as a quarterback last week. I guess it was against the Broncos, but I just had no faith in the Bears offense. That's why he was on my bench.
Yeah, I'll just trade you a second for him, and then you can go ahead.
I'll go ahead and take a first.
Which one? All right.
Probably mine. I probably want mine back.
Yeah, that's not happening. Because right now I have you. Yeah, you're the number one overall pick, aren't you?
It's probably going to be Torres Lips or me. We're both 0-4.
Cool. Wow.
All right.
All right, let's
So
move into
let's
the.
get into all of these games. We had, like you said, not a lot of close games this week. I think that's the way that fantasy was, though. There was a lot of duds and a lot of really, really good guys. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of people right in the middle this week.
A lot
So
of
you
studs,
either
a lot
won
of
by a
duds.
lot or lost by a lot. What'd you say?
A lot of studs, a lot of duds.
A lot of studs, a lot of duds. Here, I'm going to do Scotty graphic with what you said. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something interesting.
It's definitely
All
ripped
right.
off from another fantasy podcast.
All right. All right. Moving into these games, we got Just Two Justins versus Pound Cake. We already talked about this game a little bit here. I'm of the take that Just Two Justins will win every single week unless injuries happen. His team is so good. Someone goes off every single week. There's like he had down weeks from a lot of his guys, and then CMC carries. If somebody else has a down week, it seems like somebody always steps up. So I don't see him losing any time in the future. His team is so good. They're so deep. In his starting lineup, at least he has no weaknesses in his starting lineup. Maybe
I have
beyond
him
that
losing this
RB2
week.
spot.
I have him a little pre-teaser. I have him losing this week
I don't know how you have him losing this week. He's not
because
going to lose.
Herbert and Allen are on bye. So
I don't think it matters. I think the team's so good.
and well, I guess we'll find out next week.
We will find out next week. There's two very very good games this week. We'll get into that though a little bit later. Pound Cake. just one thing to say about this pound cake team is Justin Jefferson is amazing. He is the number one wide receiver, the number two fantasy player overall, just remarkably consistent. But the rest of his team is very, very inconsistent. Like he needs to get somebody else in there to help Justin Jefferson out because he's the most valuable wide receiver by far at this point. I mean, he's so, so good.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's on pace for like 6,500 yards.
I think he
Uh,
was. I think he finally slowed down.
yeah, so he's maybe going to be consistent points for him. But yeah, I mean, Debo with point 0.6 and Kittle with 0.19.
Yes,
But it's
that's
just
not so
when
good.
you got a baseline of like 30 points every week, you can have some hits and misses.
Yeah, I know. It's he's so, so good, and you can add pieces to that. I guess he has. They're not even like they're boomer bust guys. He just needs to get Justin some help.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Team Blasi versus Ground and Pound Town. This was one of our games of the week going into the week, and Team Blasi drops 185. So really, really impressive stuff from their team. They didn't really have a lot of people not show up this week. They had AJ Brown, they had Jalen Hurts, and the big one here, the Dallas defense, 2 touchdowns. He was forced to pick a defense early in the draft because of penalties, and it kind of worked out for him. That Dallas defense is the best defense in fantasy right now, I think.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, when you got AJ Brown dropping points, you got kicker getting double digits, uh, and Wilson's getting some points back, maybe showing some life. That team's going to be very legit.
The Dallas defense is the number 6 overall fantasy asset right now. Number
Jesus, is
6
that
overall.
true?
That is crazy. Yes, that is
Jesus
absolutely
Christ!
ridiculous. And
Shout out
like
to
I
Dallas.
don't, yeah, I don't have weird defensive scoring stuff. Like I have standard defensive scoring, so that means that they're really putting up that many points. I think they score a lot of touchdowns, get a lot of sacks. So that's what they're doing right now. Number 6 overall. That's crazy. Uh, and then moving on to the Ground and Pound Town team. No, actually, here we go. I have one more thing with Team Blasi, and it's just a question about Jordan Love. Is Jordan Love a reliable fantasy asset?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Okay, get down in the comments. Let us know. But yes, unfortunately,
Yes.
yes. Unfortunately, yes. For this season.
For this season, yes. He is the number 3 quarterback right now in fantasy football.
Hmm.
He's put up at least 20 points in every single game except for this week when he dropped 19 and a half. He has been remarkably consistent in fantasy. I didn't think he was going to be this good early on. I would say he's a reliable quarterback too. He's not in my quarterback one category yet, but I could start him every single week and feel confident about it.
Yeah, he's is he the biggest surprise fantasy surprise this year?
I think there's a couple of other fantasy surprises, but probably just the fact that he's the number 3 quarterback. I don't think anybody had that going into the season.
Yeah, fair.
Um, and then just 2 quick things about Crown and Pound Town. King Henry's back. I thought that he was on the other side of that cliff. Apparently not. 122 yards and a touchdown. Big game from the King.
And he only gets better as the year goes on. Like his
Yeah.
yards per rush each
Hmm.
month gets better and better. So
And then I did say Puka Nacua was garbage last week. I might have been wrong on that take, but I'm not rescinding it yet. But we have to wait until Cooper Cup comes back to see if my take actually roots any kind of success or anything like that.
it's gonna be hard calling him garbage when he's just good. Maybe he'll get less fantasy points, but he'll still be like an elite asset.
I mean, he's the best rookie receiver through 4 games in NFL history, so
Hot
I
seat,
guess you
Justin
got that.
Jefferson.
No, they both weren't that good. He's
Exactly.
much better. Yeah, he's literally been better. All right. Moving on to the Munchettes versus you, Tyler. 133, 116. Munchettes take this one, even though they put up 2 points of Mac Jones. I'm just gonna go with the take that the Munchettes are just a lucky team. They kind of play guys when they have down weeks. Like they put up good numbers, and I think Josh Allen wins this game by himself. Like he didn't really have a lot of good performances beyond Josh. Josh Allen's pretty good. He had one of his best game of the season so far. So pretty much Josh Allen put the team on his back.
Yeah, I mean my three quarterbacks combined want to get half the amount of points Josh Allen got. So it's a rough week to get a win. Um, I don't know. I don't know why Joe Burrows may just stop playing for a couple weeks and get healthy. Maybe that's it. Just please
Yeah,
do that. Gino, you didn't really need to play, and then Daniel Jones was running for his life as soon as he touched the ball. So it's a mess. The running backs look good, all 12 of them. So
Um, so my question to you, Tyler, is: are you regretting the Joe Burrow trade at all? Do you have any
no,
buyer's remorse? You're still all the
no.
way in on that?
Oh, it's a long-term process.
Okay, all right. Because he's been really, really bad up until this point. He's a number 31 ranked quarterback in fantasy. He's only had double-digit points one time. So definitely not good so far this year. But I guess, like you said, it is a long-term play. But he has looked really, really bad up until
And
this
to be fair,
point.
what I gave up Jameer Gibbs for him, has that guy been
Okay.
relevant at all? So,
All right. All right. All right. Well, we'll get into that after this
oh,
game.
okay. Let's turn the thing. Do you regret giving up Joe Burrow for
No,
Jameer
not at
Gibbs?
all. At this point, I absolutely dominated that trade because the quarterback I got, because I guess technically I got Tua in a way for the Joe Burrow trade, sort of. Tua's
No,
been
no,
much
you didn't.
better,
Those are
much
two
better,
separate things.
much
So
better.
again, it was two separate things.
I'm pretty sure Jameer Gibbs is outscoring Joe Burrow, and I got a pick, and at some point, Kyler Murray gets back.
Is he? Let's find out.
Are you looking up to see if he scored more points? I'm pretty sure that they
Did you
have.
play him?
Yes, he's my RB2.
123
All
overall.
right, let's just go straight into my game because you're looking at it.
I seem a
It
little
was
nervous right now.
Money Manziel versus the Alamo.
Yeah, no, my computer's broke. It's not working. But go
Because I
ahead.
was correct. Because I think he has 18 points. He scored 9 in both of the games. But there's still
Yeah,
more than Joe
your
Burrow.
Gibbs is 123 overall. Burrow's 150. So
Oh, that's pretty bad. That's really
yeah,
bad.
a mid off.
But I'm gonna throw it up again. Money Manziel versus the Alamo here. I'm officially 0-4. The Alamo wins the winless bowl. They had some pretty good games from a couple of their guys. I think Josh Jacobs might be back to being good, which would be kind of nice. The T. Higgins thing's gonna hurt. And then I want to ask this question. So CMC is by far and away the best running back in fantasy. Is 8 Chain number 2? Who would you take over 8 Chain at this point in fantasy football? Who's a running back? Because he looks
I mean,
really,
there's
really
more
good.
people I would. I mean, in a dynasty might change, but I still would probably
He's a
have some
rookie
other
even in
guys.
Dynasty.
No, that's what I'm saying. In dynasty, I probably would have him higher up.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
probably some other guys that are a little more sticky. I would rather have just for this year, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah, he's looked really, really good. I mean, I don't know how many guys I would put ahead of him necessarily. Because
Bijan.
if he plays, I mean, maybe Bijan, but 8 Chain's put up much better numbers so far this year. Like
Yeah,
he
well,
looks incredible.
he did on 2 games. Bijan's did almost every game.
That's true. I mean, it's true, but I'm very, very impressed. I think that just because
Yeah,
he's in that offense, the way things are, I think he's highly, highly valuable. And then I'm just gonna say one thing here. Why isn't Jahmyr Gibbs getting used at all? Like he got 8 carries. Like I like if the goal of the Lions is to win the Super Bowl, you have to balance your running backs out so you don't hurt one and then get stuck with just one. They should both be at around 16 carries, not one with 8 and one with 30. Like I was kind of expecting, I don't think Gibbs is going to be Kamara yet, but I think at some point he will put up Kamara numbers. But if he's getting 8 carries a game right now, he has no upside. He's not doing anything with 8 carries. So the Lions, I think, are going to shoot themselves in the foot if they keep running Montgomery 30 times a game. And it's just killing Gibbs' value.
yeah, I'm pretty unbiased in that take. Yeah, I mean, it is funny looking back at the draft reaction of drafting Jameer Gibbs to only use him like 4 times
I
a
know.
game.
That's crazy to
Um,
me.
which that's going to be on a rant for other where now it's like, oh, the Lions fans are correct on drafting. Where they're like, well, you're not even using the first guy you drafted, so let's calm down to that.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, maybe he just doesn't know the offense, maybe, or maybe they just
yeah.
maybe there's something we don't know.
Something we don't know. It's not like Dave Montgomery's not a good running back. He is a very good running back. So I guess there's
Yeah,
also
I mean,
just that aspect of it as well. And also, can we just please get Jameis out there in New Orleans? Because Derek Carr can't throw the ball and it's killing Olave. And that hurt me bad this week.
again,
So
not
both of
biased,
those things.
just
Also unbiased.
unbiased
But
take. I want Jameis biasly because it'd be a lot more fun in the league when Jameis is
it would be
playing.
a lot more fun. And he would throw the ball downfield actually instead of throwing the
Olave's
ball
there
behind
or
the line of
not, I want
scrimmage.
Jameis.
Because what didn't Kamara have 13 catches for 33 yards, which I don't even know how that's possible because Carr couldn't throw the ball downfield.
Yeah, it reminds me of like late Peyton Manning and late Drew Brees era.
Yeah, I know. It's so bad. All right, we have one more gamer that we didn't talk about. It's Bird Up.
Bird up.
There you go. Versus Tortoise Lips. Tortoise Lips moves to 0-4, and Bird Up is 3-1. The number 5 team right now in our rankings, not in the playoffs, but right there among the top teams. In this game, I have one take for you. So, first off, Lamar and Andrews pretty good together. Those guys are both very talented when they're both on. Shocker right there. Maybe that was a good trade for Bird Up. But is Lamar the number 1 fantasy quarterback for the rest of the season going forward? He's looked really, really good so far. Who would you put ahead of Lamar?
Josh Allen.
And then who? So he's number 2.
He's top 5.
Is he top 2? Because I think he's
who's
top
ahead
2.
of him right now? He's number 4 right now. I'd put
He's number
Allen
4?
ahead of him. Tua, I would have close with him. I would have Herbert and Allen over him. And then I would Tua and Hurts tied with him.
I think he's ahead of Hurts, and I think he's ahead of Tua because he runs for more touchdowns and runs for more yards. Like, he doesn't throw the ball as much as those guys necessarily, but I think he's at least number 3. He's
Hurts will get more
Allen,
touchdowns
Herbert.
than him. Hurts will get more rushing touchdowns than him.
Lamar
Are
has
we
a lot of
recording this
rushing
part?
touchdowns. He already has 4 rushing touchdowns. Hurts has 3.
Yeah, but anytime they're on the goal line, Hurts is going to get that.
Same thing with Lamar. It's the same thing.
No. Okay, well, let's have a bet then. Let's add 3 eggs.
Fine. You can add 3 eggs.
Okay, cool. And I think Hurts will have more rushing touchdowns. Or in total touchdowns. What do you want to do?
Rushing touchdowns. That's the bet.
Total touchdowns.
Rushing
Total
touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns.
Okay, cool. Easy.
Okay. Fair.
We're
All
going to
right.
remember this too.
Probably. All right. Moving on to the Gabe Davis cycle. And
He might
this
just
is
be good.
Huh?
Gabe Davis just might be good.
Hold on. I'm gonna send this up. I'm gonna send this again. Y'all said cut Gabe Davis. Y'all were saying you didn't know what Gabe Davis was. Y'all were saying that Gabe Davis wasn't really that good. Gabe Davis continues to catch touchdowns. Gabe Davis has 3 touchdowns in 4 games. I mean, he put up 15 points this week. He only caught 3 balls, but he doesn't need to catch a lot of balls because he only catches touchdowns. So I'm saying you all are idiots for saying to cut Gabe Davis. He's a touchdown machine. He's a wide receiver 3 at this point, so you probably should start him if you have him. So don't cut Gabe Davis. He's awesome.
And when Rob says y'all for everyone watching, he's looking in a mirror. So just remember that. The man that started the Gabe Davis cycle, the man that has been tortured by him, is the man in the mirror.
All right,
Shout out to Christian
let's move
Pulisic.
on to a rookie QB ladder. And I know you guys loved the rookie QB ladder last week. It was absolutely thrilling. I'm going to start it out this week with something real simple. CJ Stroud. I think he might be the best rookie quarterback through the first 4 weeks we've ever seen. I think they said it was him and Cam Newton were the 2 best fantasy quarterbacks the first 4 weeks in NFL history. So CJ Stroud and Cam Newton rookie year level, which is crazy company.
Are you a member of the Stroud Boys?
I'm still Bryce's all the way. I'm not a member of the Stroud Boys.
I might be a God, I hope this doesn't get clipped. But I might be a Stroud boy. He looks legit.
He looks really legit. I mean, he looks by far and away the best out of anybody, out of any of the rookies. I think it's a clear tier 1 and then everybody else. Because he's really, really amazing. Like, he looks like a real NFL quarterback, like arguably top 10, top 15 NFL quarterback already.
Yeah, I have him at number 1 this week. I'm going to take the reins here for the second tier. As I had last week, I had Caleb Williams. And my opinion on Caleb Williams, he'd still be the best rookie in the NFL right now. Except he's going to be going to the Bears next year. And so that's why I have to drop him to number 2, because he will never be bad or fine. And that's why I have him at number 2.
I think that's fair to put him at number 2, just because you put any quarterback into that Bears offense, they're terrible. I still like to point out to any Chiefs fans out there, just be glad that the Bears. No, this is to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, be glad the Bears didn't take you and you got to go be with Andy Reid and hang out in Kansas City. And you have to deal with whatever the Bears were when you got drafted. Just be lucky every day. Don't be counting your picks in your hands that you were the number 10 pick or whatever. Let's just be glad that you went to the Chiefs.
I don't like to talk about that draft.
All right.
And
My
number
number
three,
two,
huh? Oh, yeah, we have to talk about yours.
my number two was a second half AR-15, not AR-15, because in the first half he gets hurt a lot and he doesn't put up a lot of numbers in the first half. But if AR-15 plays in the second half, he's the number 2 fantasy quarterback rookie wise right now. He put up really, really good numbers this week against the Rams. So he's number 2 on my rankings. Second half, AR-15.
And for number three,
Go ahead.
the Wolfpack is back. Sam Howell, telling you guys how he is.
I mean,
He's going to be a competent quarterback. I'm letting you guys know that right now. You watch out. The league will be in awe of his just average level of play for his career.
he looked like an NFL starter last week. He looked like an above average NFL starter last week, which is pretty much all that the Commanders need to be a decent team. And if he plays like that, he's definitely a quarterback too, fantasy wise. Like he looks pretty good. He has good receivers. So I have Sam Howell number 3 in my rankings as well. He looked really, really good last week. He moved up after playing the Bills, and we all thought he was going to get sacked 9 times again. He did not. He looked really, really good. So shout out Sam Howell and the Wolfpack. That's impressive stuff there from the Commanders commander. All right. Moving on, I have number 4. I have AR-15, just regular AR-15, not just second half AR-15, both halves combined. He's number 4.
Yeah, I have him as number 4, just the player, not the halves. I don't like to get cute with it. I just like only rookies. I don't do all this mixing up things. So he's fun. I like him.
He is fun. He looks really, really good. He runs the ball a lot. He looks really athletic. He can make plays. And yeah, he has room to grow still, but he's definitely ahead of the other guys at this point. Moving on, I have number 4 or number 5. I forget where we're at this point. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry threw 1 pass touchdown this week. He has 3 touchdown passes in his whole career, and he's a quarterback rating in his career of 121. So Derrick Henry, pretty good quarterback so far at this point in his career.
Let Henry cook. Are people going to start that? Yeah, I only did the top 4. I didn't know we were going to add running backs to our rookie quarterback rankings. So this were, because I see your number 5th, 6th, doesn't matter. Next one.
The next one's Mr. Bryce Young, who has 0 pass touchdowns this week and only 2 in his career. So he has 1 less touchdown this week and 1 less touchdown pass in his career as opposed to Derrick Henry.
Yes. Would you rather, as a Bears fan that gets in the pick, would you rather have Bryce playing every week or have him sit out?
I think that he should sit. I think there's nothing wrong with Andy Dalton playing right now. If you're a Panthers fan, as a Bears fan, he should play every week because they're going to lose every single game if he plays. But he should sit out. There's no reason that he should be playing. He should not be playing right now.
He needs experience.
Yeah, you're right. He does, but he should sit out. All right, moving on. We have Will Levis with his 0 pass touchdowns this season. He's still not made any mistakes, so he is next on my rankings.
All reliable.
There you go. Moving on, I got Aiden O'Connell versus Khalil Mack. So just the combo there with Aiden O'Connell and Khalil Mack on his back is at this point in the rankings because Khalil Mack sacked him 6 times. I don't even know how that's possible, but Khalil Mack sacked Aiden O'Connell 6 times.
Yeah, and then it's fun when the coach is like, he's got to handle the ball better. I'm like, you have a guy, his first start getting mauled by Khalil Mack. Yeah, no, it's his fault. Maybe not double team him or something.
Maybe block the guy with the largest arms in the entire league. Like his arms are insane. All right.
No, it's his rookie quarterback first start. That's who we need to nail on national television.
All right, and then moving on, I have DTR with his 0 pass touchdowns and 3 picks so far this year. He looked really bad. I guess he kind of got thrown into that start late, but he's not an NFL quarterback, at least not right now. He did not.
I hope he stays in the league.
It was too much. I hope so too, but I don't know. He was fun, but he wasn't good.
Yeah, but you need that in national football. You need that. So I hope he stays.
These guys that aren't good. I don't know. He was horrible.
Well, no, not just bad. There's different. He's fun but bad. So
I guess you're right. He's a fun bad. Like Aiden O'Connell was not a very fun bad.
Well, for that just 1 week it was. It couldn't be an every week thing.
Yeah.
DTR could be.
And then moving here, this is kind of a combo pick. I don't know at this point where we are in the ladder, but I have Bailey Zappi ahead of Mac Jones as the bottom two rungs of the rookie QB ladder. Just play Zappy. Mac Jones is terrible. I think that they're ready to move on from him in New England. Let Zappy have the reins the rest of the year and then draft a quarterback next year if Zappy isn't the guy. Because Mac Jones isn't. He's gone. Terrible. Done. No more Mac
I have Trey
Jones.
Lance over Mac Jones right now on my big board.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
honestly, I would take him over Mac Jones. He looks
He brings something
rough.
else.
Yeah. And then just shout out Zach Wilson. He played himself off the rookie QB ladder. So great work, Zach Wilson.
Shout out to Zach. We're all rooting for you, bud.
So moving on to a new segment that we're going to try. Let us know what you guys think. Shout out you if you're still even here at this point. Great fantasy performances of history. So this was in week 4, our week 4 great fantasy performance of history was Sean Alexander with 56 points. He had 5 touchdowns in one half and 230 scrimmage yards in 2002. So shout out Sean Alexander in that one game back then. That was a pretty sick performance. Probably would have won that week if you had Sean Alexander.
Yeah, where were you when that happened?
I mean, I know where I was.
Do you?
All right. So we had one comment on our video last week. It wasn't that you guys were super cool, which is what I asked for.
Or
It was
the
for
secret word.
or the secret word. It was for Twitch asking us to re-explain the egg bet. So basically, whoever wins the pick competition by that number of games. So if Tyler wins by 5 games because he picked 5 games better than me, he gets to throw 5 eggs at me. So that is the egg bet. That's how it works. Hopefully it makes sense. If not, ask again and we'll explain it next week again.
Yeah, there might be some confusion because you would think, hey, if there's a bet, usually there's a loser and a winner, and there'd be an outcome to it. Well, some guy ran away and doesn't want to do it anytime we do because Robert should be having egg all over him. But yeah, there's never been a video of that. So
There'll be a video someday. Someday there'll be a video. All right. We're going to try to speed this up here in this back half. So these are the egg bet standings. Tyler is 10-5. I am 8-7. I went 4-1 last week. So Tyler is 2 games up at this point going into week 5. Our first game here that we got is Money Manziel versus Ground in Pound Town. I am 0-4. He is 3-1. But I'm going with myself.
Z-Steezy. Next.
I'm going. All right. There you go. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think I get my first win finally. Hopefully somebody can figure it out this week on my team. That would be fantastic. All right. Moving on to Team Tillman versus the Alamo. I'm going to go with the Alamo because your quarterback situation is rough right now, Tyler. They might not all play.
Next man up. Next man up mentality, and I'm not losing to the Alamo.
I'm going Raheem Mostert duds. Absolute dud.
He's going to get
and
it.
And then it's the A-Chain show out there, so the Alamo takes it.
Okay, next game.
Oh, we got Pound Cake versus Tortoise Lips. I think we're going to be on the same one here. I'm going to take Pound Cake. Tortoise Lips goes to 0-5.
Yep. Same.
And then we have co-game of the weeks. 2 very, very big games this week. The 4 best teams in the league, pretty much, outside of Crown and Pound Town, are playing each other. So the first one we got is the Munchettes are taking on Just 2 Justins. You said that there were 2 guys on buys right now for Just 2 Justins.
And Justin Herbert.
So we'll have to see what he does with that extra spot.
What he's going to do is lose. Munchettes easy.
Munchettes, quote, easy. I mean, he's starting Mac Jones right now. I'm going to go with Just 2 Justins. I mean, would you rather start a quarterback or start Mac Jones? Which one would you rather have? Have no quarterback.
4 points.
No quarterback.
You might get 4 points, so.
I'd rather just have no quarterback. All right. So we're split on that one. We are split on that one. All right. And then our other co-game of the week, we got Bird Up taking on Team Blasi. Both of these teams are 3-1. I'm going to ride with the name change. The 5 Birds are going to take this one. Bird Up.
Man, this is going to be a close one. There's some dogs on both sides, but this is easy if you think about it. Team Blasi all the way.
Team Blasi all the way. All right, so there you go. There are our picks. We split on 3 of them, so there'll be a change in the standings next week. Maybe. If I win all 3, then I would have the lead. All right. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in so long. This was a little bit longer. We'll try to make it a little bit shorter next week. But if you're here the whole time, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, type Kansas is bad at sports in
Okay,
the comments if you're still here.
We were in that game for a little bit. We didn't have our quarterback. He was hurt.